Gunslingers, welcome back to your next Chiefs Corner. Chief Master Sergeant Power here, excited to share this Chiefs Corner with an outstanding gunslinger that we're excited just to highlight and recognize and spend time with to get to know more. We have on the couch today Master Sergeant Select Tajh Smith. So just super excited to get to know him more. And Sergeant Smith, I'd love to, if you're willing to share maybe just a little bit about who you are and the airman you are in the 67th Cyberspace Wing.
All right, thanks for having me, Chief. So my name is Tajh Smith. I am an Army brat. Both of my parents, they both served 30 years each, so both of them retired as sergeants majors. One out of Fort Campbell and the other one out of Fort Bliss. So moved around about every 2 years. So we've lived almost all across the country and in Germany and Korea as well. I actually went to college first before I joined. When I joined, I didn't actually know what to expect. When I went to the recruiter, after I took my ASVAB, there were a list of jobs. This one actually sounded the most interesting, but it also had the most vague job title. It just said Fusion Analyst. I didn't know what that meant, but it had a clearance and a bonus, and my father said, you know what, go ahead and try it out. It sounds pretty cool. If anything, you'll at least get a clearance. A clearance goes a long way. So I decided to actually, take that leap of faith. And it's actually panned out very well. I've never worked with computers before. I played football and basketball. There is no computers involved in that whatsoever. But I have definitely been grateful for the opportunity to do this job and, really expand my horizons with doing this. And especially since after the merger between 24th and 25th, it's definitely been exciting to be a part of the 67th Cyberspace Wing, to see the focus on operations, having come from a previous ISR wing before. The cultural change, while they both still have great cultures, this one is still has its own unique one, and it's been great to see as everything has continued to progress.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks for sharing. So I also being a son of an Army parent, and in your case, both mom and dad were serving many years in the Army, retired from the Army. What were their thoughts about you joining the Air Force?
It was somewhat mixed. I actually originally tried to join the Army. It was actually in 2014, so there was the furlough that happened and everything else, and the government shut down, so it took about 6 months. So there were some jobs that were available that I was actually looking forward to trying to get into, and there were some jobs that weren't. So having the conversation with my father, I was staying with him at the time while he was still stationed at Fort Campbell. He said, well, you know what, just go ahead and try the Air Force. Maybe there's a few more opportunities that would be available to you. Awesome. So I went down to the recruiter, and they actually did have some more that were available. So I wouldn't be the first one. I actually do have a couple family members that were in the Air Force. But I think my family covers pretty much all branches except for the Coast Guard and Space Force, since that's the newest branch.
Wow, that's incredible. Wow, just a long tradition of service and your family, and I can only imagine the experiences that you had growing up as a military brat, that we affectionately say, but just the experiences and exposures and the friends you made around the world. And thank you for listening to your dad to try the Air Force out, because we're so thankful to have you and grateful to have you on the team. Speaking of the team that we're on, in the 67th Cyberspace Wing, we're gunslingers, and often, though, when you think of the 67th and you hear the term Cyberspace Wing, you kind of have thoughts about who's in that. But what a lot of people don't know is we have more ISR airmen, enlisted airmen, than any other AFSC in the wing. Now, you are a 1N4 X1 Alpha, which is a Cyberspace Intel Analyst, and not only are you crushing at the job, you're crushing it, and you're at the most elite level of qualifications. You're a master level exploitation analyst. And if I'm not mistaken, there's only 2 in the entire Air Force that have reached this Jedi master level of qualifications. So if you're willing to share, how did you achieve such high qualifications in your skill and in your craft? But also, what advice would you give to the gunslingers that are in the wing now, that look at you and look up to you and want to be like you someday?
Of course. So I actually started, I've been in the cyber mission force my entire career. So starting from after JCAC, I went to to Fort Eisenhower, and I was on 105 CMT, still there to this day, still doing great things. And I actually started off as a DNEA first. Their pipeline was very deliberate in how it is that they trained individuals and built them up to be EAs. So I started off as a project lead. When I got there, after I completed my training, I showed that I had the aptitude to do that. And then from there became an LOE lead. And how it is that they were doing things at that time is you needed to actually learn all of the different job roles that you would have to interact with, so that you can know what it is that you're asking for and you can be aware of that. So that's almost every different job role that you can think of on AMP aside from being a linguist, which was very eye-opening, especially when it came to operational and strategic level planning for how it is that we try and get after the targets. So then from there, I did that for a little while, and then that's when I was selected to actually go through the exploitation analyst course. So that's when I went back to CNO and I started my JQS. It was a little different than what it is that we all know it to be now. But that was very insightful and eye-opening as well. And then being back there, everybody is on their A game. So there really is no room for you to actually kind of lag behind. Especially being around a bunch of 1B4, 1 Bravo 4s, and a lot of the cyberspace operators that are officers as well, and across all of the different branches. So started there, went to Hawaii and also did that. And that was when, Cyber Command really started to professionalize a lot of their forces. That's when the CTOC came about. You have weapons and tactics directors, weapons and tactics leads. So now being around that and then being around more people who are at an even higher caliber when you're dealing with that on a daily basis, now you got to step up your game again. And I was able to come here to Lackland Air Force Base, and then that's when I was provided the opportunity to become a weapons and tactics director within the CTOC. And we actually haven't had a 1 and 4 Alpha do that before. So that was when I was like, I really need to step up my game at this point, because now I'm the representation of my career field and my service at the Cyber Command level as a 1 and 4 Alpha. So from there, I kind of felt like it was one of those things that I needed to do, not just for Cyber Command or for the Air Force, but even for myself. I wanted to try to continue to, try to push my skills to their limits and past that. So working with other services, so the Army, they helped me get through that process, as well as the Navy and the Air Force. A lot of great mentors helped me get through that, JQS, so I could achieve that certification. But that was really just the beginning. Just because I got the certification, that was when I felt like, okay, this to me is really the start of trying to really truly master my craft. Having the certification is one thing, but now learning not just the Air Force assets and how it is that we conduct operations, Army, Navy, Marines, how it is that they do things, expanding now not just on net operations, but trying to develop and figure out how it is that we would conduct off net operations as well. So for anybody who is looking to also go down that path, I'm not going to say that it's easy, but it definitely is rewarding as analysts, we definitely love that feeling once we figure out that puzzle. We're the ones that actually find that last missing piece. That's what it feels like almost every day whenever we're in those types of situations. So it is definitely very rewarding to actually be there. So it's worth it. Like I said, it's not going to be easy. You're going to have to learn things and definitely go outside your comfort zones. So just because you may be a digital network analyst or a reporter, it does not mean that you can't learn about all of the different aspects or everything that we have at our disposal within the SIGINT enterprise.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow. Thank you so much for sharing your journey and really just kind of giving a perspective of what that journey can be for our gunslingers who aspire to be just like you. Colonel Kern often talks about, being a gunslinger. We're certainly proud to be airmen, but we're also very joint. and every single day we get a chance to engage with our joint force partners, and the opportunities that you've had to just grow, certainly as an airman, but also as a joint warfighter, have been really remarkable. Here in the 67th, we work in, from, and through the cyberspace domain, and I think our Air Force and others always appreciate that cyberspace is a warfighting domain. But as gunslingers, we got to be ready every single day for if our nation calls us to do our operations in cyberspace. We would not be the elite force that we are if it wasn't for leaders like you. So thank you for just everything that you do, that you've done to achieve this incredibly high level of qualification, the subject matter expertise you have, but how you pour that back into others, and the leadership that you've had, that you've given to make us all better. You truly have made this a premier cyberspace wing, and we couldn't do it without you. So thank you for that. Excited to see you promote to Master Sergeant here in a few months' time. I know we chatted earlier, being all others, the wait is long, but thankfully the wait is worth it, and it's coming soon, and we're just excited to see that rooftop on you real soon. So Sergeant Smith, thanks for spending time today. We appreciate it. Thanks for all you do. And Gunslingers, thanks for tuning into this Chief's Corner today with Master Sergeant Select Smith.